Okay guys, so today's graph of the week is about social media. So we're going to take a look at this. We've done a couple different social media graphs, but this one is different than the others. So I think we're going to get some cool information out of it. Love that data. I do want 12 observations. 12 observations. You will have plenty of time to get all 12 of those down, so do not worry about it. After this, all you have to look forward to is MobyMax. So get those 12 observations down, and then you can move along to MobyMax. Try not to just copy things I say. Try to use the questions at the top or reach some of your own conclusions. But let's jump into these two graphs and see what they have to tell us. So as usual, we're going to want to start out reading the title and the subtitle and then read any of the little extra things at the bottom. So the first graph says U.S. teens have mixed feelings about social media. And the subtitle is percent of U.S. teens saying social media has a mostly positive or mostly negative effect on people their age. At the bottom of the graph, it says verbatim responses have been coded into categories. Multiple responses were allowed based on the survey of 743 U.S. teens aged 13 to 17 conducted in March and April 2008. And these are from the Pew Research Center. So if we look toward the top, it says mostly positive effect, neither positive nor negative effect, and mostly negative effect. 31% of the teens polled said that they had a mostly positive effect. 45% said it was sort of neutral, neither negative or positive, and then 24% said that they had a mostly negative effect. So there's definitely more positive effect or neutral effect, but there's still basically a quarter of people that were surveyed saying that they think most of the effect of social media is negative. So, I mean, that's significant. Main reasons for social media having a negative effect. So I think the ones that said it mostly has a negative effect then said these are the reasons why. It says bullying / rumor spreading, harms relationships / in-person contact, unrealistic views of others' lives, causes distractions / addiction, peer pressure causes mental health issues, and just drama in general. And then after that, it was 12% had other reasons that didn't fall into one of these major categories. So, maybe think of your social media usage. I definitely, personally agree with unrealistic views of other people's lives, and I think a lot of people do get kind of addicted to social media, which then cause distractions perhaps in class or distractions in life in general. But, those are definitely negative effects that perhaps were not something you had to worry about 20 years ago before everybody had a phone and was looking at it every 5 minutes. So, yeah, there's that graph. I think generally that one's pretty easy to understand. So if you want to look at it and get some more pieces of data off of it, you're welcome to. The next one, and I know you're probably going to say, well, I don't see all types of social media on there, but this is YouTube, Instagram, and Snapchat are the most popular online platforms among teens, so that's the title. And then the subtitle is percent of U.S. teens who ... and it says say they use blank most often. So it looks like the axis along the left side, which is not really an X or Y axis, but it's just an axis, has the different types of social media. So YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Reddit, none of the above. And then we sort of have two bar graphs. One of them is saying what teens use the most, or what teens use. I think you could do multiple responses. And then the second bar graph is how many say they use that one the most. Okay. There is a note at the bottom. Figures in first column add to more than 100% because multiple responses were allowed. Question about most used site was asked only of respondents who use multiple sites. Results have been recalculated to include those who use only one site. Respondents who did not give an answer are not shown, and this was taken in 2018 by the Pew Research Center. So maybe think where you fit on this. I use YouTube, I use Instagram, I use Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter. I use basically all of those. Which ones do I use the most? obviously, in this. More people said they used Snapchat the most than anything else. But overall, the most people said that they use YouTube. And I think that might be a little skewed. YouTube, in my mind, is not like just a normal social media. It's kind of used for a variety of things. So you use YouTube in school. You will look up videos on YouTube. It's linked a lot in websites. Whereas when I'm looking at this, like Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, seem to be kind of in a different category. But that's even something you could bring up. Like YouTube is a different kind of social media. YouTube is used for a variety of things. It is not just used for social interactions with people, but it's also used for social interactions with people. So a lot of people, really use all of the major 5 at the top, but then a lot of people say that they use Snapchat and YouTube most often, which I think would make sense. You guys are on Snapchat all the time. So you can also think like, hey, where do I fit on this? Like, what would I fit into? I probably use Snapchat and Facebook the most, So I am kind of in line with 69% of the people who took this and 51% of the people who took this for Snapchat and Facebook. Where do you align with this? Do you even use Tumblr and Reddit? What do you think none of the above would refer to? This might be before some other social medias came up. So, how would this change if they only polled middle school students? How would this change if they polled people tomorrow versus back in April 2018? Those are certainly valid observations. Say, hey, I think this will look completely different now because middle school students use this social media. So those are certainly things that you can bring up. So again, 12 observations. You can keep working on those. I need 12 of them. I think I've given you a decent amount, but make sure you get all of those done and have them, please number them in some way. It makes them easier for me to count. And then you are going to be turning this into the substitute, and after this you are working on Moby Max. There's also a Delta Math assignment that is open if you want to work on that too, but both of those things should be occupying your time. You do not need to be playing games. You do not need to be chatting. You can be working on math stuff on your computer. So have a great hour and have a great weekend.